Hello everyone, welcome to Trend Talks, and today I have the pleasure to talk with Harry Wolkenfelt. Harry is a founder and CEO of the Solarif group, and he is based in the Netherlands. He has a background in finance and worked for many years as investment manager for banks and funds. He founded Solarif in 2009, and the company is operating worldwide as an independent insurance broker with a full focus on insurances of PV installations. Harry is also a public speaker, well known with the solar energy topic. He is an expert as well on trade and a missionary on the industry, insurance, banking, and trade. Welcome, Harry.
Thank you for welcoming me in your Trend Talk.
All right, Harry. Since you're an expert in solar insurances, I want to discuss briefly with you on this topic. So what do you see as the main challenges if you look at rooftop solar projects, and then more in particular between the insurance companies, the roof owners, and the project developers?
Didn't expect that one. What is important, there's a shift going on, and meaning that insurers of buildings are looking differently to the building when there is a PV installation on top of it. And the way they're looking at it is saying, okay, does this increase our risk as a building insurer? So you have to think as a developer or as an owner of a future system, you have to think differently, and it doesn't start with your installation. It starts with taking the risk of the building into consideration. What kind of risks are in the building or are on top of the building? What is around the building? So, for example, what kind of activities are done inside the building? Because, for example, if the installation causes a fire, the building burns down, you have a total loss, then also you have a loss of the activities inside the building, which is enormous and can be enormous. You can also look at what is the insulation inside the top of the building. Is there something which is flammable? And if that's the case, how to address that risk? Or if you want to build your installation on top of the roof, of course, at a certain point, certain location on that roof. If there's a fire, can the fire brigade get to the place to put out the fire? So there's a lot of things you have to take into consideration when you decide to put an installation on top of a roof.
Has that been underestimated so far in solar project development, to your opinion?
I don't think it's underestimated. It's an ongoing process where also insurers get more aware of the risk of a building in combination with a PV and say, okay, we've seen some fires now. If this market will grow as rapidly as it has been done, then we will have a lot more claims in our books. And looking at the existing claims, they see a future ahead with a lot of huge amount of money to be paid out. So they're concerned.
Are they hesitant to insure PV plants, or is there a willingness?
No, I think they were hesitant, and you see some insurers coming back now and saying, okay, we're willing to look at it, but we want a good story. We want a professional story. People who have not only thought about, oh, we're going to put an insulation on the roof, but also are thinking about our part of the deal. What is our risk and how they can mitigate that risk to a level which is acceptable for the insurer.
And is there like a general ballpark figure to say what are the cost of an insurance for a solar roof in percentage? Is that?
No, it depends on the country. It depends on the size. It depends on the kind of risk. There's not a simple insurance. You know, an insurance is built up with different kinds of cover. So what is the required cover? So that differs the premium. You can also say, okay, I want a higher risk on theft, which will reduce the premium, or I want a low, which will increase the premium. So there's many different circumstances which will influence the premium of an insurance.
Is there so what solutions do you see if we want to improve the communication and cooperation between insurance companies and project developers or roof owners?
Well, necessary is that the project developer, maybe the owner, also takes the risk of the building in combination of the risk of the PV installation and comes up with like, okay, what kind of risks are there? How am I going to mitigate that risk, decrease the risk, and put that in a plan, kind of action plan. And that go to the insurer and discuss that upfront with the insurer. Okay, this is the building. We know the risk. We're going to mitigate that. We're going to take away the risk. This is the insulation we want to build on the roof. Because of these risks, we have designed the insulation in a certain way. We have taken certain measures. We have made a choice on the certain products we're going to use. We are going to have an inspection on the insulation. We're going to do inspections afterwards to mitigate that risk, be in prevention way, and discuss that with the insurer up front, so that not surprised when you go to the insurer saying, oh, I have an PV installation on my roof, and the insurer says, well, sorry, I'm not going to do it.
Obviously, with all those challenges to mitigate this risk on the fire and with respect to fire safety, there is still a lot of work to be done in the construction industry with respect to rooftop constructions. Yes. And every challenge is, of course, an opportunity. So what kind of opportunities do you see in the market also for the construction industry?
That there is more standardization in the way it works, and put the way of working into a process and put it onto paper, and so that you can show the insurer saying, hey, this is the way we work. We have decided about certain processes and the way we're going to do it. And that gives more confidence to the insurer that they are working with a professional party who knows exactly what they are doing, and also taking their risk into consideration, not only saying, okay, let's put an insulation as quick as possible on the roof and sell it to the owner and get paid, and then we're off.
I can picture that you have maybe good examples of what went wrong. Is there like a maybe unanimous example that you can share of what the impact could be if it's not well covered?
There are a few things that causes problem in roofs. And for example, if you have the integrated solar panels, they just take them off the tiles and put the integrated solar panels back on it. Then you have to make sure that you have enough space to cool the system beneath. And if you take away a tile, a roof tile, well, that's unflammable, it can't burn. So you have to put something beneath it to make sure that if there's a fire started by the connectors, that you have a resistant fire foil under the insulation, for example. And I already mentioned connectors. Also, using different kind of connectors can bring up more problems and create a fire. But also, not only using different connectors, but it's also the way of putting it together. You have to know how to do it and use the correct equipment to do so.
This touches upon this topic. Do you see that there will be new requirements coming up or new regulations with respect to maintenance and inspection of rooftop installations? Looking at what, this.
Well, if you look at the Dutch market, it's already coming up. It's called Scope 12 inspections. That will be pretty much in hard demand from every insurer. Do you want your system insured? Then you have to have a Scope 12 inspection. And that means somebody comes there, looks at the insulation, will check it and saying, okay, this insulation has been installed in a good way and fulfills all the requirements of law. We have a lot of laws in the Netherlands, and you have to fulfill them. And that will be checked. Until now, it was not the case, but that will become a hard demand from the insurers.
Okay, final question in this short interview, Harry. Is there a particular trend or topic that you're very excited about?
Yes, the quality of installments is increasing. So also the installers are aware of it needs to be done in a really good way. And the focus on quality is really into the market, and it's that's what it makes me happy to see that.
Good. With these positive words, Harry, I would like to thank you for this interview, and of course I hope that we will meet in person again at one of our events.